Requiring assistance with various activities of daily living is a normal part of the aging process, whether that's with cooking and eating or medication management. We all need a little help as we grow older. Choosing assisted living for yourself or a loved one can be a difficult decision, but it is not something you have to go through alone. Renaissance Village communities offer resort-style assisted living that enables seniors to thrive and age in place without having to move because of changes in care needs, as Renaissance Village also offers independent living, memory care, and respite care. The Renaissance lifestyle, as we like to call it, is found in every avenue of our care and is dedicated to creating great days for our residents. Renaissance Village understands the worries and frustration you may be experiencing in caring for yourself or a loved one who requires assistance. Caring for a loved one can be difficult, and it's important to have the right care in place for everyone's safety and wellness. It's not always easy, too, to admit when a loved one is in need of assisted living. Deciding if assisted living is the right option for you or your loved one is an important decision and one that should not be made lightly. Today, we'll try to help you with that decision. And please remember, this decision will affect you and your family as well. Setting realistic expectations for assisted living at Renaissance Village. In today's world, few people are prepared for or have the time available to care for someone who's aging and requires increased assistance with activities of daily living. Sometimes you just may not have the necessary skills or knowledge to care for your loved one on your own. Plus, if you're depending on yourself to provide this care, it can become overwhelming. Providing care for a loved one can, at a certain point, become a chronic stressor that actually poses several risks to a person's physical, mental, and social health. Those caring for a loved one are at an increased risk of depression and anxiety, a weakened immune system, obesity, chronic diseases such as heart disease and cancer, even problems with short-term memory. To keep ourselves in good health, we all need help. Renaissance Village offers purpose-built assisted living apartments that provide residents with exclusive amenities and personalized care. And while each resident has their own apartment, our entire community is their home. Residents can sit and enjoy the company of their family and others in our various sitting and activity rooms, or share a lively discussion over a delicious home-cooked meal in our restaurant-style dining room. Assisted living is for seniors who require care or assistance with various activities of daily living. The 6 basic activities of daily living are eating, bathing, dressing, toileting, transferring or walking, and continence. Assisted living spaces at Renaissance Village can be either individuals or shared apartments. It's different from living at home, and sometimes residents can have a hard time making that transition. We strive to ease that transition and make our residents comfortable. We've learned that this transition works best when family members have realistic expectations for their loved one who's entering assisted living. Understanding the changes, if you decide to move yourself or a loved one into an assisted living community, it is important that everyone understand the differences between living at home and living in a group setting. Renaissance Village offers many activities for residents to enjoy and stay active. At home, residents can eat whatever and whenever they want. At Renaissance Village, there is somewhat limited control over menus and eating times. Renaissance Village encourages residents to eat healthy portions and to take advantage of the array of nutritious options. It may take your loved one some time to adjust to the new environment. Transitioning into their new home may cause depression and at times even anger towards the family, but we're here to assist in that transition. It's also important to remember that sometimes residents forget or they're not quite ready to give up their independence and continue to try and perform activities of daily living on their own. And at times it may result in falls or other injuries. Indeed, falls may occur for a wide variety of reasons. We want to encourage residents to walk and take part in physical activities. However, this may lead to falls as well. Renaissance Village does its very best to care for your loved one, but we do not provide 24/7 supervision. To ensure a quick response, residents are encouraged to always wear their provided emergency alert pendant. The assisted living difference. Please remember that generally Renaissance Village does not offer the same level of care found in a nursing home. Please keep this in mind when deciding whether or not Renaissance Village is the right choice for you. An example of the difference is the type of record keeping performed at Renaissance Village. Here, physician reports and care plans are updated at least annually or with any significant changes. Monthly weights are taken and nutritional records and changes of condition are documented. Renaissance Village staff may include limited numbers of professional nurses. Unlicensed caregivers will be involved in certain routine functions. And while assisted living might be the right choice for your loved one, there are some limitations to the level of care provided. Thus, it's important to remember these limitations in light of what the resident's needs might be in the future, especially if functional declines occur. Freedom of movement. While we do our very best to predict and lessen potential hazards, a resident may wander, either by accident or on purpose, into a situation either inside or outside the assisted living community where there is the potential for injury. It's important that you realize the residents will not have a staff member assigned individually to monitor his or her movement throughout the day. Please understand that you're not purchasing 24 hours per day one-on-one care. No employee will be assigned to individually monitor the resident all day. Again, Renaissance Village encourages residents to always wear their emergency pendant so their location can be known. The resident and physician. Moving into an assisted living community does not change in any way a resident's relationship with his or her physician. Assisted living staff may provide some light health care services and assistance with medication, but these services are always under the order of the resident's physician. It's important to note that while living in any assisted living community, all over-the-counter medications, vitamins, and supplements must be ordered by the physician. Residents' level of care. Renaissance Village has multiple levels of care that can be assigned to a resident upon move-in. The level of care for a resident is determined following an assessment with Renaissance Village staff in conjunction with a physician's assessment. The resident or responsible party must agree to the assigned level of care explained in the service document that's drawn up following the assessment. This service document or plan of care indicates what services will, within reasonable limits, be delivered to best meet a resident's particular needs, based on their own individual social and physical abilities and awareness. The resident or responsible party must agree with the service document or plan of care. This plan is reviewed on a regular basis, hopefully with input from caring family members. Levels of care generally are determined by the amount of assistance a resident requires with the activities of daily living, things like grooming and taking medication. The level of care required by a resident generally determines the total cost of care, and typically the more assistance the resident needs, of course, the greater the fee for the care provided. To learn more about these levels of care and the California regulations that define them, please ask a Renaissance Village staff member to provide more detailed information. Nutrition and hydration. Statistics indicate that many Americans are somewhat malnourished and/or dehydrated. Anyone who doesn't eat properly or drink enough fluids damages his or her health, whether they're at home or at Renaissance Village. Not eating and drinking becomes even worse if a resident is depressed about being in an assisted living community, causing a decrease in appetite. We will courteously encourage a resident to eat or drink, but we will not force a resident who refuses. You, as the resident or responsible party, will play a significant role in partnering with Renaissance Village to address any weight loss, fluid intake, or nutritional issues that the resident may encounter. Thus, we encourage you to contact the appropriate Renaissance Village staff when you have any nutritional concerns. Please only consider a move to Renaissance Village if you fully understand that we'll provide nourishing food and drink, but we will not insist on a resident consuming them. Trustworthiness of people. Renaissance Village takes theft seriously and strives to hire people with high ethical and moral standards and a compassion for others. However, we simply can't read the minds and consciences of all of our employees. It's important that you understand the residents moving from a familiar, private environment, home, into an unfamiliar group living setting. The addition of a variety of people means there are extra risks, and while this may sound a bit insensitive, everyone takes risks during a normal day. Think about going to the store, for example. There's the risk of physical or verbal assault, neglect by store employees, and theft, among others. These same risks exist in any environment where there are many people, including assisted living communities such as Renaissance Village. We believe these risks are small at Renaissance Village, but when residing in any group living environments like an assisted living community, it's wise to take precautions to reduce temptations by others. This includes taking proper care of money and valuables. We encourage you to speak with our staff about the steps you can reasonably take. We believe that the risk is small, but before moving yourself or your loved one into Renaissance Village or any other assisted living community, you should understand and accept fully the risks of living in a group environment. Realistic expectations. We wish that all the residents we serve could receive 24-hour one-on-one assistance. We don't doubt this level of service would be beneficial to all residents. Constant supervision would merely lessen, though not completely eliminate, the risk of falling, wandering into danger, choking, etc. The amount paid to assisted living communities such as Renaissance Village does not provide for such a level of service, and that's why assisted living communities like Renaissance Village cannot provide 24-hour one-on-one care and monitoring to residents, unless special additional services are purchased. We sincerely look forward to the opportunity to serve you. However, we want you to consider your move to Renaissance Village in light of what you've just seen. Renaissance Village cannot and does not claim to insulate residents from risks associated with normal living or from the consequences of their own choices. We try very hard and make reasonable efforts to protect residents. However, please remember that residents are not individually supervised 24 hours per day and may independently choose to do things that are harmful. And although we wish otherwise, the financial realities of the payments we receive for our services just simply don't allow us the means to provide such constant care and monitoring. You should know that the assisted living setting is designed in a way intended to reasonably enhance and maximize the quality of life, independence, dignity, choice, and privacy of residents. We consider each apartment the resident's home, and therefore we honor the resident's privacy. Apartment doors are closed and may be locked by the resident. Staff will not normally enter unless the resident invites them. An exception is when staff is providing routine service, like providing assistance with activities of daily living needed by the resident. In case of emergency, Renaissance Village team leaders do have master keys to unlock doors. The aging process. While not all residents of Renaissance Village are elderly, the majority of them are. There are certain physical changes and conditions that occur to all of us as we age, try as we may to fight them. Changes in vision, hearing, and smell occur naturally as we age. Our hair turns gray or thins and falls out. Skin becomes thin and wrinkles, which may result in skin tears. It becomes more difficult to tell whether we're hot or cold. We become less flexible, and our bones become more brittle. Our hearts and blood vessels become less elastic, and circulation may change. This is one reason why bruising occurs so easily. Breathing becomes more difficult, and our nervous systems and urinary systems may not function as well as when we were young. The decreased functions that occur with aging cause older individuals to become more prone to things like infections, falls and accidents, skin tears, and bruising. If you've ever tried to help an elderly family member walk or stand up, you may have bruised them or torn their skin. It happens because their skin has thinned over the years, not because you weren't careful. Blood pressure cuffs and tourniquets to draw blood for tests are necessary, but even when someone's trained in the proper way to use them, they may cause bruising. We make efforts to prevent it, but sometimes it's just unavoidable. Life is full of risks. Aging increases some of those risks, and those risks continue whether you're living at home or in a group setting. If a resident refuses to eat or drink properly and adequately in an assisted living community, it's just as bad as at home. Falls can occur anywhere. Bones weakened by osteoporosis can break without warning anywhere. Skin breakdown and bruising can easily occur at home or at an assisted living community like Renaissance Village, although we make reasonable efforts to prevent it. Choking on food, getting into a situation of potential or actual harm, or being treated badly by people are all risks associated with living, whether you're at home or in a community such as the Renaissance Village. Small incidents can seem more irritating when they occur at an assisted living community than when they happen at home, probably because they're not always under a resident's direct control anymore. And although we make efforts to prevent it, sometimes an article of clothing gets lost when we do the laundry. Just like when doing the laundry at home, sometimes we just can't find that other sock. At home, you laugh and wonder where all those socks go. But in an assisted living community, sometimes residents use it as a way of venting their frustration that they feel over losing self-sufficiency. We totally understand that and try to reassure our residents, hoping you realize that the problem really isn't the lost sock in the laundry, or that the food isn't tasty. We hope that this presentation has answered many of your questions about life at Renaissance Village. Our goal is to be open and honest in communicating what a resident can and cannot expect while living at Renaissance Village. Your trust and confidence in us as a resident or responsible party of a resident is very valuable to us, and we'll always strive to meet our residents' needs in every reasonable way. We believe this can occur if realistic expectations are established in advance, and if we all understand that it's impossible to provide an entirely risk-free environment anywhere, and to come anywhere close to it would be staggeringly expensive. Please only consider a move to Renaissance Village or any assisted living community if you fully understand that the normal risks of daily living do not disappear once one moves into this or any other assisted living community. For you to be pleased with the services provided, it's absolutely necessary that you fully and completely understand and accept these realities. If you're interested in our assisted living community and want to contact us for any additional services, please see our staff. They'll assist you in locating such services and explain the additional fees. Thank you so much for your interest in the Renaissance Village. We look forward to the honor of serving you and your loved one and wish you the very best. We believe that the information that you've just seen is so important. We recommend you share the information with family and friends who may have questions about life in an assisted living community, just like Renaissance Village.